Hi, and a very warm welcome to Wellbeing Mission Control. I've got a sensitive question I'd like to put to you. Do you feel that it's a good idea to forget? I know it's a difficult question because most of us tend to have a very negative association with this idea of forgiveness, simply because it reminds us of all those occasions when we've been let down, lied to, betrayed, when we felt disappointed, or we've been traumatized by the people's behavior. So the question of forgiveness is often closely associated with events that are far from pleasant. But the question still remains, do you feel it's a good idea? And I'm mentioning it today because we have a long-term habit where we tend to hold on to the pain. We tend to hold on to our anger. In many ways, it's a protective response to ensure that we don't repeat the same mistakes. Again, we try to avoid the pain, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional. And if we remind ourselves that we have been bitten, we're probably less likely to repeat the same mistake. But the problem is that when we hold on to these grievances, this anger, this resentment about the way we've been treated, it gets in the way of living a life which is fuller, more complete. It's not about suppressing how we feel. It's not about ignoring the issues which have been difficult. I'm a big fan of confronting these particular events in our lives and dealing with them, understanding them, analyzing them, taking them apart, and neutralizing their ability to sway how we think and feel. But the fact is that forgiveness is a big step in the right direction. Now, I'm not convinced that it always helps the person that you forgive, but I think it's very helpful for us when we extend this feeling of letting go, of knowing that people are human, they make mistakes. Sometimes we get hurt because it's negligence, sometimes it's deliberate, sometimes people just don't realize what they're doing. But the fact is, if we can step beyond the anger, and forgiveness is one way of doing that, it frees up a lot of space within the emotional and the mental foundation to generate something which is more positive, more useful, more supportive, something that can really help to sustain a stronger sense of well-being and balance and control. And when you carry this burden on your shoulders, in your body, of blame, and if we're honest, a deep-seated desire for revenge, for retribution, it really gets in the way of the quality of life. But it's also important, and I have mentioned this before, if you're going to discuss forgiveness, that you make absolutely certain that you direct the healing power of forgiveness towards yourself. We sometimes forget, whilst we're experiencing all kinds of difficulties at the hands of others, that we can generate a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, a lot of regret simply about the poor decisions we make. And by acknowledging that, come on, guys, we are human. We are works in progress. We are not perfect. We're not complete. Far from it. But in forgiving ourselves, we can at least create a blank space in which we can make a commitment to do better next time, to overcome these frailties and weaknesses that get in the way of leading a better life. And in forgiving yourself, you don't anchor yourself to bad behaviors. You can release them. And I think because there's less internal resistance, you can develop a much stronger and more robust approach to dealing with situations which may present themselves again in the future and which will allow you to make better choices. So you have fewer regrets, less guilt, less shame, and you don't have to forgive yourself. And it's also important when you fail that you're honest with yourself. Did I do my best? Did I stop? Did I quit? Did I pull up short? There are a lot of nuances to this rather than a simple 0, 1, positive minus black and white interpretation. Be gentle with yourself. And when you forgive yourself for all of those feelings and thoughts and behaviors that perhaps were regrettable, you've got a much better chance of growing beyond their limitations and experiencing life on a completely fresh new level. I'd love to know what you think about this. I know it's a sensitive subject. I get a lot of correspondence about some of the conflicts which people have experienced, particularly within the family context. I'd love to know what you think. Feel free to share your thoughts, feelings, suggestions, and experiences. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. But in the meantime, allow me, with your permission, to wish you a wonderful day.